All right. Good Thursday. Well, I said Thursday, Wednesday. Good Wednesday evening, everybody. For those of you that are able to join us, just want to welcome you to the third of our financial training as part of the Be Well Together team. So we are excited to partner with our health center, yourselves, and promoting staff well-being. So the funding that is making this possible is for this work is available to a law by called the Dr. Lorna Breen Healthcare Provider Protection Act. This law aimed to improve the mental and behavioral health among healthcare providers and reduce burnout. So through many of the listening session, as well as surveys that some of you took at your health center, excuse me, you identify financial health as one of the important part in increasing your overall well-being. And so some brief housekeeping, this is recorded, especially for some of your colleagues that are not able to attend, so they could have access to this recording. And to maintain some of the confidentiality, so we will ask you to hold some of your questions to the end of the presentation. And at that time, we will stop the recording so you could have some privacy and confidentiality in asking your questions. We'll also have a brief survey that we will ask you to complete at the end of the presentation. And it is a requirement by our funder that will help ensure that whatever information that you receive, that it is a learning opportunity for you. So excited for our partners, our village that will be doing this webinar. Our village is a social impact initiative consulting firm, and they focus on actively closing racial wealth gap in local communities. And Denisha McDonald and Michelle Brathwaite will be our presenters. So I give them a chance to introduce themselves, and I'm gonna pass the virtual mic over to you. So thank you and welcome again.
Thank you so much for having us. We hope you guys have found value in our sessions thus far. My name is Denisha McDonald. I'm the founder of Our Village Initiative and the co-collaborator with Michelle Brathwaite on the Build Black Wealth seminar series. We believe we are stronger together, and if we're trying to really help people grow financially, it's better when we put all of our specialties, our expertise to good use together and collaborate. So we thank you guys. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a cash holiday. So how do you start to save and think about saving, even if it's not for this year, planning ahead for next year? And what does that look like so that you are okay financially and not blowing the whole budget for the holiday season? We just want to make you guys aware of the Build Black Wealth seminar series, where we discuss a different barrier to wealth creation every month. So we've talked about group investing. We've talked about helping people improve their credit score. This upcoming month, we'll be talking about investing and what does that look like for the different aspects of things. So for this evening, our topics are going to be holiday budget. So making sure that you set a budget, you know what your budget is, that we talk about some micro jobs and things that you can do to earn money. I think we're coming upon the season where there are seasonal jobs. A lot of people are busy, so there are opportunities for you if you have a little bit more of an entrepreneurial mindset. There are a lot of opportunities for you to earn additional income in this season. There are folks who earn the majority of their income during the holiday season because of how they structure things, and they work those extra hours or those extra shifts in addition to anything. And we'll talk about that, kind of what those jobs and being creative, what those look like for you guys. We'll also talk about some holiday savings and things that my family has done ever since I was a child, and it's worked. And then some holiday debt tips. So we don't want you to go into debt this holiday season. We want to make sure that you guys are being responsible, that you're making adjustments. We understand inflation is real, and prices of everything has gone up. So how do we manage that, and how do we maneuver that, understanding kind of family dynamics and what you guys have done traditionally and what your family tradition is, making sure that we stay within that, but making some tweaks and some adjustments so that you still get the desired outcome, even if it doesn't cost you as much as it has in the past. Okay. Oh.
Okay. And I can jump in, Denisha, so you can cover your slides. So thank you so much. All right. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for being patient. My computer decided they wanted to update versus letting me in. So, so thanks for your patience. So yeah, we're really excited to talk a little bit about this topic, especially now since we're approaching the holiday season. So CNBC did a really cool survey, and it talked about what kind of items people are going to stop buying for the in terms of the holiday season. Okay, and it's interesting when they talked about 77% are going to be middle price point items versus high-end items. And I think that that's kind of straight across the board. No one's going to be opening up a box and having a Chanel bag. I mean, even though it'll be nice, right? Tina Marie to open up there and have a nice Chanel bag, right? Especially the quilted one, really, really cute. But, so they talked about, they're going to be looking for more like discounts. And that's especially now more than ever, like Denisha talked about when it comes to inflation. I mean, it is hitting every category. So we are looking for those discounts. And so they're talking about those mid-price items, like maybe like jackets and shoes and things like that. But what's interesting is that it's the promotional items too. That's a big deal. So if you buy X, you'll probably get Y. If you, spend X amount of dollars, you might be able to get 2, 3, 4 gifts. And guess what? Somebody's getting those 2, 3, 4 free gifts, right? So it'd be good either for stocking stuffers or that is going to be the gift. It's all about looking for opportunities to kind of stretch our dollars. You can go to the next slide, Denisha, please. Okay, so now holiday loans. Now, even though we're not a big fan, all right, of getting into debt, but it's all about, Denisha and I, we believe about just thinking outside the box and being strategic. It's all about being strategic, okay? And the reason why we're talking about holiday loans, because they could be a good option. Again, if you don't have any options and you want to do something. So if you're short on cash, or to consolidate your bad debt, because watch this, if you can consolidate your bad debt, and bad debt are credit cards, those high interest rate credit cards. So we talked a little bit about that. I don't know about you, but if you haven't checked your interest rates on your credit cards, trust me, what they look like in January, March, May, August, up until now have all changed, okay? Have all changed. So if you add up all your minimum payments, again, they could be really high because those rates have gone up from 19 to up to about 28, 29%, okay? So if you consolidated those down, your total amount that you may be paying out on credit cards could be like $800 a month. But if you refinance them, again, depending on your credit score and things like that, imagine bringing an $800 total down to $500. That could be like a $300 savings, and $300 savings is 5 gifts, right? 5 gifts at like, $60 or whatever, or can it be 66 people will get $50 gifts, you see? So it's all about doing some things different, because listen, bank loans can have low rates, okay? And I love credit unions. Credit unions are great because they work with people, that may not have A++ credit. So if your scores, sometimes even below 690, they'll loan you money. Okay. They'll loan you money. And there are some credit unions will just give you a holiday loan. It may be like a $500 loan or even a $1,000 loan, Denisha, that you can get to kind of, again, if you're looking to possibly have something for the holidays, or most importantly, give yourself the gift of consolidation. Okay, next slide. All right, now here's the other part 2. Online lenders, as I mentioned, they offer holiday loans. Sometimes their repayment terms are a little bit shorter, okay? And the rate you qualify, the rate you get can qualify based on your credit history, your debt to income ratio, and your cash flow. Debt to income ratios have gone up, have really changed drastically because of the interest rates. We've been seeing that. Denisha's in the real estate field, so she sees it all the time, that, that just by using your credit card or your interest rates going up, that could throw you over that, okay? So example, let's say you had a $1,000 loan, it's due in 2 years. If your APR is 20%, it could cost you like almost $2,200, $2,200 more, right? just in interest. So imagine if your interest rate is like around 24 and 25%. So still just be very mindful of that. If you are looking to free up consolidate your debts, or you're looking to get a loan, be very careful of where you go, but check with, I prefer people to go with their credit unions or their banks, not taking out other lines of credit. You can still borrow money, but you can still be smart and be strategic when you're doing it, okay? Next slide.
Can I just add to that, Michelle?
Yeah, sure.
When you're borrowing, yes, that's an option, not our preferred option. But if you are going to borrow for the holidays, be intentional, right? You're borrowing this money and you know you have to pay it back. So that means after the holidays, you're making a sacrifice. You're not spending like you used to or how you would spend at the top of the year because you have a loan to repay. So if you're making the sacrifice to borrow money now, you need to say, okay, come in the new year, I'm not going out to eat until I repay this loan. I'm not going to do any trips. I'm not going to plan anything until I pay this back, because we already know the interest rates are going to be significantly higher. So you're just compounding the effects of not planning from before. Okay, so we want to stop and break that cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Because there are a lot of people too that sometimes even borrow from their 401k and 403b. And that being said, I'll talk about that on one of the other slides. But all right, so let's talk about the good and the bad of buy now, pay later. And I know a lot of people are familiar with that. Okay, so here's some other options, and you may have seen it. I've seen it everywhere for everything, whether it's a cell phone, buying clothes, getting a new cell phone plan. So if anybody heard of Klarna or Affirm, anybody familiar with those companies? I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but now when you're going online, you know, you can, instead of, let's say you want to go shopping and you want to pick up $300 worth of items, they ask you now, do you want to just pay the full 300, or do you want to kind of put that like on an installment plan? It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you know what, Denisha, I did it because I wanted to try it. I think I bought something for like $50 or whatever, and they gave me the option that I can pay like $5 over time. And I was like, you know what, let me just try this to see how it works. Let me just see how it works. But that could be a good option, that you may be strategic and you try to find those retailers that offer Affirm or Klarna, and that way you can take your time and and pay it. Because a lot of times the interest rates are zero. They're zero, and you can borrow. I mean, so that's awesome. That it may take you either like 6 weeks or up to a year or 2 years to pay all that back for 0%, which will be, again, could be an awesome opportunity to do that. But now remember, see that bullet point at the bottom? It's usually designed for smaller purchases. We're not talking about that you're going to throw on, that brand new GE smart refrigerator that you can touch the glass and see what you have in there and things like that. We're not talking about high ticket items. Okay. We're talking about things that may run you like under $1,500. Okay. Because larger purchases could cry more down. Again, we're not advocates of borrowing for the holidays, but again, everything when it comes to financial knowledge, increasing your financial intelligence, is being a smarter consumer. That's all it is, about being a smarter consumer. Okay, next slide. Okay, so Denisha, you wanna go over this?
Yes. So just like Michelle said, it's about being really smart about your strategy. Everything in life, whether we want to believe it or not, there's strategy involved, or there should be some strategy involved in why we do certain things. So if you are going to use the buy now, pay later, just understand you're still giving yourself a budget. And be careful, because it is easy to overspend, because now you're not paying the full price of anything, right? As opposed to it being $1,000 that you just spent on Christmas gifts, it might be $25 a month that you're paying back. So the tendency is, well, it's not going to affect me that much, so I can spend a little bit more. And when we think of our long-term goals, yes, it's the holiday season, but we are alive past the holiday season, and we have responsibilities past the holiday season. So making sure whatever that budget is, if you said I'm spending $500 on Christmas gifts, do not go over the $500. If you're set it at $300, do not go over that amount, because these are designed for them to make money off of you. They don't want you to have a 0% interest rate, right? They don't want to make it manageable for you. That is not why they created it. They created it so it appeals to you, especially now. They weren't as prevalent as they are now because times are hard and they need us to spend money to keep the economy going. So how do they do that? I'll give you so you can pay it off over time. So you have to understand the game of what they're doing. You might start with that 0% interest rate. How long does it last? Because I know I need to pay it off by then so that my $300 is actually $300 and not $500 when this is all said and done. So making sure you're paying attention to those things. Understand and try not to do any payday loans. Payday loans, I feel like they start at 30% interest rate. That might be the lowest you can get on a payday loan. So don't do those. I'd much rather you did a buy now, pay later than a payday loan. And then the credit card cash advances, those as well are on the higher end of what you have to pay for an interest rate. Those are usually 20, 25, 30% interest you're paying on those cash advances. So pay attention to that, because it does add up in the end significantly. The rates are high, and then there might be some repayment penalties and some additional fees. So we just want you guys to be aware of those things when you're planning for the holiday season, because a lot of people get themselves in trouble accidentally, unintentionally.
Yep. And so let's talk about, usually during the holiday season, Denisha is going to talk a little bit about micro jobs, and there's a lot. I just wanted to cover the first one when it talked the first two, because I always like to talk about things that I do. Man, listen, micro jobs could just be something that you work very seasonally, whether you're working at the Target or you're working at Macy's and you're doing their cosmetic counter, or even they have them where if you're great at wrapping gifts, they hire people for wrapping gifts. Like, who knew? Now I couldn't do that because I would get cuts on my hands and that tape will be all over the place. Okay, so I knew better, but I can do that. I can fold a mean sweater. Back in the day I used to do that. Okay, I can fold a mean sweater. Okay. But now, since the world has changed, you understand everything is all about technology. So things like Survey Junkie. I don't know, have anybody ever here have done a survey and got paid? Man, listen, you imagine, Denisha, nobody wants to hear no one's opinion, right? But now I can get paid for giving you my opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's all about a mindset shift, right? So why not capitalize on that? So Survey Junkie, use interviews, swag bucks. There's a good friend of mine. She's constantly sending me things for service. You understand too. You can go out there and watch movies, and rate the movies, and they'll pay you. You can even go to places where you can buy food, let you try certain. You can get free food. There's all kinds of stuff that's out there. And I like scanning for cash. Right on my phone, I have two of these three. That's on here, and you can scan for cash, especially when it comes to groceries. Okay, be careful if you're like me and you have two phones. I downloaded Ibotta. It's awesome. What happens is that I set all the grocery stores that I like to shop at, so whether it's Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, or even other retailers, like whether it's Target, Walmart, whatever. Okay, and it helps us to be. Denisha's going to talk about budgeting. Okay, but it helps you really be mindful of when you're shopping, because see, now if I know before I go shopping, I see what kind of sales they have. And let me tell you, when I was paying attention to what I was shopping and I would scan my receipt or scan the items, they'll give you 50 cents, sometimes a $3. I have almost like $60 that was saved up, in that thing. But what ended up happening, okay, I downloaded the app on another phone, and they thought that I was doing something else, and all the money went away. So I'm mad, okay, about that. I should have just cashed it in. So now I'm back to $4, Denisha. So I'm hot about that. So I got to fix that. But anyways, but guess what? It works. Top Cash, okay? Top Cash, I made $350, okay? So when I was using that one was one for my airfare, and they had unbelievable rebates for that one. So take a look at that, and Rakuten's another one. Denisha's going to cover, some of the extra ones the other bullet points that you have here, because there's one of them that she does do.
So I don't know, has anyone heard of Turo or Get Around? Do you guys know what that is? So if you have one, if you're traveling, or if you have a car that you're not using or you're at work, so it's not being used, it's just parked and collecting dust until you're finished with work, Turo and Get Around allows you to rent your car to other people and you get paid. So if your car is just sitting around not doing anything, or you have an extra car, then you can put that on one of these platforms. And then I do it when I travel, as opposed to going to rental car companies. I'm like, I'd much rather help a regular person make some money as opposed to the rental car companies. That's Denisha's give back. So I go on the app and I reserve the car, and you can reserve anything because there are people who've turned it into a business. I have 2 cars, well, one right now that's on the road where its sole function is Turo. Like people just rent it out and bring it back. We clean it, they rent it out. And it can be sometimes where they rent it for a day, they might rent it for a week. We're coming into the holiday season right now and people are coming to Boston. They're going to rent it for the entire time that they're there. So if they're in Boston for 2 weeks, then they're going to rent your car for the 2 weeks that they're there. And you can make a pretty decent amount of money. The prices that people rent their cars for ranges depending on the year, the make, the model of the car. I've seen $25 a day. I've seen $100 a day. I've seen $200 a day, right? So we know some of that's like the older model cars all the way up to the Teslas, the Jaguars, like all sorts of cars people can rent. So if you have a car that you're not planning to use over the holiday season, I encourage you to test it out. That's how I got into it two years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. My friend said, Denisha, try it. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm not going to be using my car this week. I know that already. I'm going to be inside because I had some deadlines for work. So I'm like, I'm just going to be inside working. Let's put it. And I made, I ended up keeping it on for 2 weeks. I made $600 in 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm hooked and I'm doing it. I'm like, that's it. I'm in. So that's why I have 2 cars. One of them, sadly, was in a little accident. So it's in the repair shop now. And darn it, GMC is on strike. So the part that I need is not at the mechanic. So that is the one downside for me, but I've made great money with that. The person who introduced me to it, she has 5 cars on the road right now. So that is her additional source of income for her family. And she makes not hundreds, she makes thousands every month by just having cars on the road, right? So it's a great way to gain some passive income with Turo and Get Around. Those are 2 options. So it's kind of like Uber, but you don't have to do the driving. So yes, your car is being used by other people, but you don't have to drive them around. They drive the car. It's covered by insurance. Like they have their own insurance policy, everything. So it's covered. Other ways would be to be a holiday helper. So again, like Michelle said, if you're great at wrapping gifts, that's an option. When I was a kid, I actually love wrapping gifts. I'm pretty good at it. My aunt tricked me. I didn't know. I wrapped my own Christmas gift. So on Christmas, I learned that hey, I wrapped that 2 days ago. But you can go wrap gifts and get paid for it because they do that. And Prudential, you can do that. If you like cleaning, you like doing laundry, you can be a dog walker, you can be a pet sitter because people are traveling over the holiday season. Extend your services to your community and see who needs the help so that you can earn some additional income for the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming up, we have Christmas, and in between there, people are traveling, right? So you can be a help to them and earn some additional income, which is really helpful. We have the grocery shopping. I think that ties in line with like Instacart, Uber Eats, all of DoorDash, all of those things where you can join those platforms, earn extra income in addition, just by doing the things that you love to do anyway. Okay. And then running errands. There's a website called TaskRabbit where you just go, people just have random tasks that they need to do that they don't want to do. And if you have that skill set, they'll pay you. It's the great thing about being an entrepreneur and being in this environment because there's always a way to make money legally. Look at that. And easy, right? Not a heavy lift. If you have extra items, it's a great time to do a housing cleanse. So you can sell any used items. I go through my clothes. If I haven't worn it in 3 years, chances are I'm probably not going to wear it. So that's when I start cleansing those things out. You can sell them to thrift stores. You can sell them on Facebook Marketplace. There are lots of groups where you can sell your things and earn some additional cash for the holiday season. You can even make gifts. So right now, I help developers in terms of helping people who are interested in home ownership prepare, right? And from talking to potential home buyers, we see a lot of them have additional debt that's ruining their ability to be able to purchase a home. And I told them this year, Christmas might have to be kind of on the chopping blocks in terms of gifts. So you need to think creatively. Maybe you're making gifts this year. Maybe you're not buying them because it's not in the budget. Do you want Christmas more or do you want the house more? And I can't make that decision for you. You know which one's more important because we need every extra bit of cash to accomplish that goal. So some people are making gifts this year because they know what their focus is. There's also the opportunity for seasonal jobs and a lot of virtual or work from home jobs that are coming available now.
And
So
Denisha, I just wanted just to add, so in the chat, everyone, I popped in a link. There's an organization, a friend of mine just talked to me about this. There's an organization that's called BioLife. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it or not. But she said that that what she's been doing to earn extra money is donating plasma. And you can get paid between $500 to $900 you know, just for donating plasma. Exactly, Guardia. You can get, and so this company, BioLife, they, I think there's only one location in Massachusetts. I think actually two. I think one's in Worcester and one's in Medford. She does it in North Carolina, but then when she comes to Massachusetts to visit her daughter, she stays for like a month, you know, when she's there. In Massachusetts, when she's there, she goes to the one in Worcester because her daughter's like maybe 45 minutes out, and she donates plasma. So that's how she's been also making money. It's again, the world's changed. There's so many opportunities that you can still give and donate and do wonderful things, and also get, you know, again, we're not just giving to be receiving, but it's nice that you can give and also get a receive back of $900. That's a big deal. Okay, but go ahead, Denisha. I'll let you.
a well planned out trip right there. She said, I identified my spending money right there. Genius. So as we think about the holidays and budgeting, what can you do right now? I would say you want to ask yourself a few questions, right? How much did you spend last year? Look back and see, check those credit card receipts, check those bank statements. How much did you spend for the holidays last year? So you can figure out, well, is it likely that I'm going to spend about the same amount this year, or do I need to cut back? What does that look like for you? And be realistic, right? Look at your finances first, think about people second, right? Because you have to be healthy. We need to maintain your mental health. If this is going to stress you out, it's not worth it. Okay. So you need to analyze your finances and make sure everything is okay. If it is within your budget, you know, from what you spent last year, then you have a plan set. If it's not, then we need to make some adjustments, right? We want you to start setting a budget. This is moving forward, setting a budget for each family member, right? Some people, they might get a $20 gift. There are others who your budget might be $100. Set a budget for each family member so that you stick to that. And even if you like something and it costs $20 more, that is not in the budget. You gave yourself a number, stick to it, okay? Your bank account will thank you. Your retirement account will thank you. Your future self will thank you, okay? Stick to the budget. And then something that we've started doing, my family is really large. Christmas in New York was no less. Christmas and Thanksgiving, there's at least 60 of us. So we take turns. It takes a while to get to Thanksgiving dinner because we all can't fit at the table at the same time. So it's like we eat it by age group. Pretty much I work our way into it. So for the holidays, we started doing the Yankee swap. So you exchange the names, and so everyone gets one gift. That's how we stay in budget. Everyone gets a gift, but you are only responsible for buying one gift. So you can do that within your immediate family, right? So if your household, you're like, we're tight this month, everyone can still have a gift, and your budget might be a little bit larger because now you're buying one gift as opposed to 3, 4, 5 gifts for it, so that everyone has one. Everyone's responsible for one gift. It makes it a little bit more affordable to stick within your means during the holiday season. Okay, so that's kind of how we've started adjusting in our family because we keep growing and it's just expensive at this point. So we just do the Yankee swap. Michelle, do you want to go over this one?
Yeah, sure. Yep, and you're 100% correct, especially in Caribbean families, when your cousins start having more babies and creating little cousins, I'm done. Okay.
It's a lot. It's stressful.
I'm all set. All right, here we go. So that's my money saving measure. Speaking of which, all right. So, it's interesting, right? They had did a survey. I love surveys. 67%, that you can save money is buying stuff on sale. And one thing that I realized is that depending, they always put all the high ticket items, all the impulse things right up front. They're very strategic when they do that. Okay. And sometimes you can find the same thing that's at the front of the store, at the back of the store, that's on the sales rack, because just the time that they put it out. They may have sold out, got another shipment in, but because of the date, they put it on a clearance. So don't, so again, don't sleep on the clearance, okay? And speaking of which, they talked about like between 43 and 48% of people that were surveyed said that they're definitely going to spend less this year than they did last year, which kind of makes sense too, because everything has gone up in cost, because there's only a small amount of people that's kind of going to spend the same thing. And that's fine, because it also depends on what their budget was. Their budget could have been $50 per gift, like Denisha said. Sometimes with those Yankee swaps, we're not going to go over 50, we're not going to go over 20, we're not going to go over 100. I think that's wonderful. And same thing with switching brands. Switching brands is also another way to do that. Preparing budget-friendly foods. I'm vegan, so I put myself on a strict budget. I said, and because I was overspending. Listen, confession, I love to snack. I am a snacker. I'll snack all day and won't eat any meals. Don't laugh at me, Guadi. I see you. Okay, I love to snack. Okay, I did buy some snacks today, but don't tell anybody. That's just me. I love to snack. But I remember I was spending like over $100 a month just on snacks, which is crazy. Again, I'm vegan. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'll put myself on a budget of $50 per week, and that includes my cat food. Okay. So if it was $30 on my cat food for that week and $20 for me, that's what it was. And guess what I ate? I set salads. Okay. That was it. That's all that I ate, because I wanted to try to be disciplined. So sometimes, again, it's all about preparing budget-friendly foods, like, salads or pasta dishes and things like that. Or you shop at, the dollar store. Dollar store has really leveled up their game too with some of their stuff. They got almond milk, oat milk, they got lentils, all these different things. And some of them, I didn't realize that some of them are so massive. They have like a frozen food section in the back. Why I saw some, like, Denisha, I saw some Jamaican patties back there. I was like, okay, we're doing some little ethnic foods, okay. That's right, Ms. Carrington, I did see it, okay. So I guess the demographics, depending on where you at. Listen, everything, I love everything being inclusive, okay, being inclusive. So yeah, so don't sleep on a dollar store. Dollar stores is giving these stores a run for their money, okay. So I just want to have some fun with it. All right, next slide.
Amen. That's so funny. But yeah, you can find a savings at the Dollar Tree, at Walmart. Like, we have to start thinking a little bit differently and being a little bit more resourceful in terms of what we get. So absolutely. So here's some holiday savings tips that I grew up with. These came from my household, that no longer really celebrate Christmas, but we still apply these principles to kind of just budgeting and life management in general. So when I was a teenager, and my brother, so he's 8 years younger than me, my dad would have us shop after the holidays, because it was a strategic thing on his part, but actually it's a genius idea. He didn't want to go shopping before Christmas because there's too many people, it's too stressful. He was like, okay, guys, I can go buy you the gifts now and it's going to be more expensive, so you'll get less presents, or we can wait until after Christmas when people return everything and there's a 70% off sale, and then you can go crazy with the money I would have spent before Christmas for you. And we were like, absolutely, if we can get more things, we will. So we would go and clean house after Christmas because everything was on sale. It's cheaper than before Christmas shopping, right? Because we didn't really care about, opening presents on Christmas. It's like, I want the things. That's really the goal, as opposed to opening it on the day. So he would have us go after Christmas and we would go shopping and everything would be on sale. So we got more for our money during this strategy. So that is one. It does require a family conversation. So he sat us down and he gave us that option and explained it. It really was to benefit him so he wouldn't have to go out and shop for the Christmas holiday, but it benefited everyone because we were saving money and getting more for the money that we had, right? Also thinking of a Christmas savings club. So I know the City of Boston Credit Union has it. A few other credit unions have it as well. They have a holiday savings club. So where you sign up and you set your budget and they will start, taking that money out of your bank account or you auto depositing that every month, and you won't have access to it until closer to the holiday season. So this is where you create a budget and then they're going to incrementally just withdraw that money from your account. So you don't have to worry. Come Christmas, they'll give you all of those funds and you can use that to go shopping. I think that's really beneficial if you have a habit of overspending or you just want to be better at managing your funds. So we have the Holiday Savings Club, which is at most credit unions. Ally Bank is one bank that does something called buckets, which I love. So it's an online bank and they allow you to save using buckets. So it's just categories within your savings account so that you can put how much you want. So if you're saving for a down payment, you'll have like house bucket, right? And then you set your goal, so what your target is of how much you need to save, and it's going to track how far away you are from meeting that goal. You can have one that's, holiday bucket or Christmas gift bucket and set your budget, and then it tells you or it helps you track how close you are to accomplishing that goal. So if that works better for you, there's an option as well. Okay, the key is create the budget and stick to the budget so that you don't overspend. Another option is really start planning for next year, right? We know this year you've already have the money set aside. We're like, it's already too late. This year, let's try to start afresh for 2024. So now look at possibly, again, like my dad said, buy after the holiday because things are on sale. Christmas wrapping paper is 70% off. Gifts are usually 50 to 70% off as well. Start buying those things this Christmas, a little bit by little bit after the holiday, but you're planning for next year. So it's gifts that you're planning to give in the future. What I did when my kids were younger is, because now they have they're friends and they don't want, toys anymore. They want electronics, expensive things. But when they were younger, you have to go to baby showers, you have to go to birthday parties, and you always have to get gifts. Anytime I went to the store and there was a sale, I'd buy it, and I had a chest, a bin, and I would just put gifts in there. So I just buy things and store it in this bin so that when I had a birthday party or when I had a baby shower to go to, I just go in the bin, pick out a gift, wrap it, and be on my way, because I paid 70-80% off because I only buy things on sale when it makes sense. So throughout the year, like, I just be collecting gift items in my bin. And that's where I went to find, when I had to get anything for people. So that's an option. If you've already kind of planned for this year, starting to think of next year, shop after the holiday season, because there are certain things people will want that aren't like the in gift per se, certain staples that they may want, or if it's younger kids, they just want a toy, or, you kind of have an idea of what it is they'll want. You can start purchasing those things and saving it for the future, because over time, it's actually going to cost you less because you're able to plan ahead. You're able to shop even below your budget, because if you said it was $20 for this person, you're getting that same thing on sale and now it's $10. You could either have $10 extra to buy them an additional gift, or $10 that you now save that you can put towards debt, that you can put towards your retirement, you can put towards anything else because you saved $10, right? So just starting to think strategically on how that works.
Yep. And Denisha, before you go into that, I just wanted to add just a couple of things too. And when it comes to holiday savings, especially if you're not in the position to get a loan, or you're just stretched very, very thin, even if you kind of scrub your budget. Number one, call your auto insurance company and see if you could change your deductible from $500 to $1,000. that usually will change, would drop your monthly payment and you get some money there, okay? Number two, you can also, if you're paying extra on credit cards, stop it. Just stop it. Take the extra, add it to your savings or to your Christmas budget. And I prefer you to take your minimum payment and put it on bi-weekly. So then that way you're hitting principal and interest twice a month, okay? So that can free up some money. Number three, you can also temporarily, because the year is almost over, you can temporarily, number one, stop contributing to your 403b or your 401k. That will put extra money back into your paycheck, okay? This is just temporary. You already made your full contributions for the beginning of the year. Again, I'm talking about for those of you that may just be strapped, okay? Those that may be strapped, or you're just looking to get to find money in what you're already doing and padding what you're doing, okay? So you can either reduce or temporarily stop your contributions from now until January. So you got November and December. So man, if you get paid bi-weekly, right, and you have $150 coming out bi-weekly, that's $600, boom, just like that you'll be able to get back, back in the budget, okay? The other thing that you could do is talk to your financial professional, and you can adjust your exemptions that are in your pay stub, okay? You take your W-4 and you can change your withholdings in your pay stub, not on the state side, but on the federal side. I've helped a lot of clients this year, especially my clients who are single moms that really needed the extra. We either did a conservative adjustment or we did an aggressive one where I had them go full exempt. They took no taxes out. So again, if you look at your pay stub, and your taxes are coming at like $400, per pay period, that's what you're paying in your federal taxes. Imagine that if you're bi-weekly, and if you have them stop taking out taxes just for the federal, not for the state, just temporarily, please understand what I'm saying. I usually work with their tax professional and they come up with a strategy to do that, okay? If you're working with a tax preparer, that's going to be a disaster because you're not really going to see them. It's a taxation strategist to someone you're working with throughout the year, or I can help you do your stuff, okay? But if you're doing $400 taxes coming out, let's say every 2 weeks, that's $800 a month. You just do that for 90 days. Someone do 800 times 3. I mean, what's the math on that? Was that $2,400 if I did the math correct? That's a lot of money. And you just turn it back on, okay? You just turn it back on. I had a client do that. They're high income earners, but they were, and she had them taken a lot out of her taxes. They got 4 kids in hockey, and I had all kind of stuff. And we did the tax adjustment. It put $2,000 a month back in the paycheck that they needed. Okay, it's all about being strategic to kind of give you some extra savings. And Denisha, so you're probably going to take it home because I got to jump onto another Zoom. But these next couple of slides are going to be yours, okay?
Yes,
I'll stick around. But thanks, everybody. I'm still going to hang on. Just wanted to kind of put that out there before I left.
Yes, ma'am. So again, trying to find ways to make it interesting because saving and budgeting is not fun. For some people, it feels like torture, but it is a good thing. We can do savings challenges. Again, setting your budget is one thing. I'm a set it and forget it type of person. So I just want to know I can save $50 a month, set that, I don't have to worry about it. It's gone. For others, it might be now I want the competitive. Can I save even more? So I have the 50 that's being saved or I have nothing being saved, but can I look in my budget and every week I give myself a new goal so that I can save X amount of dollars by the end of the year. So to the left, you have the 52-week savings tracker. So it's every day, every week you can pick a number, what's your goal, right? So if it's $5, this week I'm trying to find an extra $5 in my budget that I'm going to set aside. Next week, I'm going to pick $40. Can I find $40 in my budget, in my current income, that I can put towards saving? Because by the end of the year, I want to have $1,000 saved. And that $1,000 is my Christmas money, right? So you're trying to go through and give yourself these goals every week to see how much can you save additionally or out of your paycheck, which means you might have to eat out less for that week. You might have to walk by Macy's, not in Macy's. You might have to turn off the screen for any online shopping sales, right? So what can you do to get that extra those extra savings from within your current budget? Another tool is here again, they do the same thing where this 52-week challenge is every week you save the amount of the week. So for the first week, you're saving $1. For the second week, you're saving $2. By December, you have to save $52 that week. At the end of that savings challenge, you'll have just over $1,300 saved. So there are different ways in which you can try to make saving fun, make it interesting, and really challenge yourself, because you have to break the bad habits so you can find this money in your current paycheck. If you're not going to work extra, this is how you find the money. Okay. So that is it for us. We were actually towards the end. So if you guys have any questions, happy to answer them now. I think the survey was already placed in the chat. We hope it was helpful. But the goal is really set. If you take nothing else, you need to sit down and look at your finances and give yourself a budget and give yourself grace, right? Understand you can't help all people. Not everyone may get a gift this year, but you have to be strategic, because the days after the holiday, you have to live with the decisions that you made before the holiday. So you need to make sure that it makes sense for you. People will understand, right? Especially if you have a goal. So if your goal is, I want to be debt free, or I want to save to buy a house, share that goal with people, because that's going to help you, because you're saying it out loud, and it's going to help them understand, okay, this is why. Okay. And if they don't understand, to me, that tells you something, right? If they don't understand that you're trying to save to buy a house, or you're trying to save so that you can be out of debt because they want their gift more, the only people who that's an excuse for, to me, is children. An adult who's upset about that says a whole lot to me. Okay. So thank you guys. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Denisha and Michelle. I mispronounced your last name earlier, so apologies for that. Brathwaite. So thank you both so much. Wonderful presentation. And also I like the ending on the accountability piece. Denisha is telling you, tell everybody so they could hold you accountable. And so I think that's a good way to end this. So I added the survey link. I'm going to stop the recording to see if anyone has any questions.